Good morning and welcome to this Yin Yoga session. For today's session we're going to work on the kidney and urinary bladder meridians. So as we've spoken about before, our Yin Yoga is based on clearing the energy lines of the meridians. So the shapes that we're going to use today are going to work into clearing the meridians of the kidney and the urinary bladder. So grab hold of your mat, grab hold of a couple of pillows, a blanket, a couple of blocks or a book, and come and join me for this 1 hour of Yin Yoga practice. So allow yourself to settle on the mat, coming into easy seat or sukhasana. So one leg is crossed in front of the other, ankles are in line with one another, and you can just gently lower down the knees to the ground while coming and finding the sit bones. So maybe rocking over onto one sit bone and then the other, so that you can find the sit bones and press down into the ground. So resting now in your sukhasana, we'll go into a short meditation. So allow the eyes now to close. Allow the hands to rest on the knees, palms facing upward. Allowing yourself to settle into the shape. Shoulders drifting away from the ears as you lengthen up from the base of your spine. Bringing your full attention and awareness now to the breath, deeply inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Allowing yourself this time now to fully arrive into the body, beginning to notice any sensations. Maybe the hips feeling a little bit tight. Noticing the breath, whether or not you're able to fully expand through the breathing cavity as you deeply inhale and exhale. Beautiful deep breaths, breathing in and out through the nose. Beginning to notice sounds outside the room. Not attaching to any of the sounds, just noticing. Allowing your hearing to hop from one sound to the next. And then gently bringing your awareness into the room, noticing any sounds directly around you. Checking in once more with your shape of sukhasana. Are you able to draw up and lengthen through the spine, gently tucking the chin in towards the chest. Allowing yourself a last few deep breaths. Noticing how you arrived on your mat today. What is the state of your mind? Are you able to now park aside thoughts as you bring full focus into the breath and into the body, allowing the mind to quieten. Taking the last few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, gently beginning to flutter the eyes open. Back into your space. Just checking in with the body now, just noticing what are the sensations within your body. And as we move through this Yin Yoga practice with focus on the kidneys and the urinary bladder, move mindfully through the practice. Really listen to the body. We're going to come into our very first posture, which is Sphinx pose. So we're going to we start off with Sphinx pose, so we can get a slight extension through the spine, and by doing so we gently compress the kidneys. So we start off right off the bat working into the kidneys and the kidney meridian. So come down on your mat, coming onto the belly, so roll over onto belly, and bring elbows underneath shoulders, hands extended forward, thighs are resting onto the mat, feet are relaxed. Once you're comfortable in this position, we're not dumping down into the shoulders, rather rising up and forward, gazing forward, close the eyes, and we are here for 5 minutes. So really allow yourself now this opportunity to settle into the shape. Soften the belly, allow it to drift down towards the mat. So you're feeling this full extension here through the spine. This allows a beautiful compression of the kidneys, and in turn stimulating the kidney and urinary bladder meridians. If at any time the posture becomes too much, you can allow yourself to drop forward, resting the forehead, resting one hand above the other, so coming down, resting the forehead. Continuously checking in with the shape. Are you able to soften the buttocks, soften the thighs? Working as usual to the principles of Yin Yoga, where we work to the 3 principles of firstly finding your edge, and your edge being at a level of a 5. And then finding stillness within the posture. So are you able to completely quieten the mind? And then finally, the 3rd principle is to hold. In stillness, we don't fidget, we don't move around. We keep as still as we possibly can. We are nearly halfway. Just bring full awareness and attention to this shape of Sphinx and what it's presenting to your body. Continuously bringing your awareness back to the breath as you deeply inhale and exhale through the nose. As you inhale and exhale, are you able to expand through your open chest? Once more, checking in with the shape. Are you able to relax through the face, through the neck? Target area here, into the shoulders, into the lower back. We're moving into the last minute. See if you're able to soften, if there's any space where you're holding unnecessary tension. Moving into the last 15 seconds here in your Sphinx pose. This beautiful extension through the spine. And a beautiful compression into the kidney meridian. And you can gently drop the palms down. Place one palm onto the other. Bring the left cheek to rest onto the palms. And take the left leg out beside you. Draw the knee up and place the foot down. And just rest here for a minute. This is a counter pose, just allowing yourself to melt into the mat here. Take a few sighs if you need to. Really allowing the body to relax down into the ground. Last deep inhale. And as you exhale, gently extend the leg back onto the mat. We're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Allow the forehead to kiss down onto the mat. Tuck the toes. We're going to gently roll, pressing back up, coming into the next shape, which is called saddle. So for saddle, there's a couple of variations depending on your flexibility. So really be mindful of what's going on in the knees here. So if you're able to sit in between the feet, okay, then do so. There should be no major pinching here. If you feel that it's a little bit tight in the hips and stiff in the knees, grab hold of your thick book, pop it underneath the hips, and then just take the posture here. So the next option is to take this a little bit further by bringing the hands behind the back and gazing forward. So this is one option. If this is available to you, please take this. If this is too much, you may feel that sitting onto the heels, bringing the hands behind you, is enough. If both of these are not available to you because of issues with the ankle or whatever stiffness or tightness you're feeling, just go back into Sphinx for this portion. For those that are comfortable sitting down in between the feet, from here you can lower down onto the elbows if that is accessible to you. So what we're then incorporating here as well is a stretch through the thighs and into the hip flexors. And if it is available to you to lower down fully onto the ground and draw the arms up overhead, then this is the full expression of this posture. We are here for 3 minutes. So allow yourself to settle. Bringing your awareness and focus once more onto the deep breaths. In the full expression of saddle, we're working through a beautiful extension of the spine, but also we're being very kind to the sacroiliac joint here. Taking a beautiful deep stretch through the quads and over the hip flexors. And as I speak about fascia that is being stretched, you're working the fascial layer of the front side of the body. wherever you are in this posture, just allow yourself to soften. Again, searching or working towards the 3 principles of Yin Yoga, finding your appropriate edge, being still and then holding the posture. We're coming into the last minute. Where can you relax just that little bit more into the shape? Close the eyes, focus on the breath, deeply inhale and exhale. Last few rounds of breath here, and when you're ready, we're gently going to roll out. So if you're down on the ground, bring the elbows back behind you. Take your time, slowly raising back up onto palms, and then gently drawing yourself back up into seated, and gently coming back down onto our counter pose or over into counter pose, which is child's pose. So dropping forehead down to kiss the mat, wrapping the arms around the legs, allowing yourself a short counter pose here of about a minute. Deep breaths into the belly. Allow the body to melt down into the mat. Gently press or bring palms beside the face, press palms into the mat, raise up and then drop down once more. We're going back into Sphinx for 5 minutes. So just come down on the mat first, adjust yourself here. We're dropping forehead to kiss down onto mat, and then we're gently going to raise up, bringing elbows under shoulders, hands extended forward, and once more we're settling into Sphinx, ensuring not to dump down into the shoulders but to rise up and out, gazing forward. Once more, closing the eyes and allowing deep breaths to flood through the body. Beautiful opening of the chest. Once more, working or walking your mind through the shape, seeing where you can soften that little bit more. Are you able to relax the thighs completely as they're resting on your mat? Are your feet relaxed? Are you able to soften through the lower back as you open up through the chest? Working once more into the 3 principles of Yin. Find edge, find stillness, and hold. Slowly inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Being conscious of every breath. Being conscious as you inhale, you're refreshing and renewing and revitalizing every cell in your body. And as you exhale, exhaling out what no longer serves, the body no longer needs. Halfway there, so just soften and settle. Allow everything to be soft. If at any time you need to take a rest, send elbows out to the side, bring one hand on top of the other, and rest the forehead. And once you've taken your rest, just come back into the posture. This is a long hold. Moving into our last minute of the shape. Walking yourself through the shape for these last few seconds. What can you let go of and soften? Gently spread elbows out beside you. Bring one hand over the other. Drop the right cheek down onto the hands and draw the right knee up, extending the foot out beside. And just take a minute here. A brief counter pose from Sphinx. Soften the entire body, relax right down into the ground. Gently bring the legs back onto mats. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck toes. Kiss forehead down onto the mat for a moment, and then we begin to rise up, drawing back, dropping the forehead for a moment, taking a little stretch through the spine. Raise yourself up, and we're coming into the next posture, which is called butterfly. So for butterfly, we bring the soles of the feet to touch. The soles of the feet are not drawn right in towards the hips. You can extend them forward away from the body. Interlace fingers over the toes and allow the forehead to drop down. So we're taking a full extension, flexion, through the spine now. So taking a side view of butterfly, allowing the forehead to drop. Now, if you're finding that you're very tense in the hip joints, and you may want to take some props to place underneath the thighs, just to lessen the intense sensation within the hips. So it's entirely up to you. So whatever you need here, you may feel that you're rolling back and you're not on the sit bones, so you can draw a blanket underneath the hips in that case, and then allow yourself to let go into the shape. Be here for 3 minutes. So we're not drawing the chest down to the feet here. We're taking a full flexion through the spine, so you can roll right over, dropping the forehead down. Once you found comfort in the shape, allow yourself to fully relax into it. Soften through the whole spine, soften through the shoulders, allow the full stretch to be felt through the spine and gently into the hips. Allow gravity to do its job here. You're folding and melting down over the feet. More finding that space of stillness, letting go and relaxing, taking a couple of sighs if you need to. Moving into the last 30 seconds here. Feeling any tension in the neck, you're welcome to bring a support for the neck, whether that's a pillow or a block or a bolster, whatever it is. We're gently going to press palms into the mat, walk your hands back towards the thighs, gently rolling out of the shape. Gently drawing the knees together. We're going to come straight into the next shape, which is half butterfly. So Turn sideways here. We're going to bring the right sole of the foot into the left thigh, extending the left leg out beside you. Toes are soft, leg is soft. So we're going to drop forward here, allowing forearms to drop down onto the ground. If this is too much for you and your range is here, just walk hands slightly forward. Allow the head to drop down and take this lovely flexion once more through the spine. So we're here for 2 minutes, and then we're going to transition over to the other side. So just walk yourself through the shape. Are you able to fully soften through the spine? Breaths to allow yourself to melt forward, letting go. Softening through the body, softening into the shape. Gently press palms into the mat. Walk hands back towards the body. We're going to raise up the knees here, bringing the 2 soles of the feet to plant down into the mat. Begin to windshield wipe the legs over from one side to the other. So just gently stretching into the hips before we move into the other side of half butterfly. So last movement here. Draw hips or knees back up. Let's bring left sole of the foot into the right thigh. Extend the right leg out beside you. Adjust yourself. If you're still sitting on your blanket, to raise up the hips slightly. And then begin to drop down onto forearms. We're here for 2 minutes. So again, if it's not accessible, bring hands down. Whatever is part of your practice. Again, working into those principles of yin yoga, where we're looking for the edge of a 5, and we're allowing ourselves that space to drop into stillness. Deep breaths. Continuously bringing your awareness and focus to the breath. Walking yourself through the shape, seeing where you are able to soften just that little more. Are the toes of that right extended leg soft? Is the ankle of the right extended leg soft? Are the shoulders soft? Deep breaths. into the last 30 seconds here in half butterfly. Gently press palms back into the ground as you walk hands back towards torso, raising yourself back up, bringing the soles of the feet out in front of you, knees are bent, hands behind you for a couple of windshield wipers before we transition into the next shape. Now the next shape we're going to do is called straddle. It's essentially a wide-legged forward fold. So very useful here to use a rolled up blanket to prop up the hips. So you'll find that when you come into this wide-legged, just a seated posture, we tend to roll back over the sit bones. So by bringing the rolled up blanket underneath the hips, you allow yourself to be able to find that space where you can just roll onto the edge of the blanket. Bringing the legs out as wide as comfortable for you, and then we're gently going to fold forward and allow the forehead to drop down. Now you have the option to take hold of any props here if you need to rest the head on a prop, if the neck is feeling a bit tight, whatever you need here, take it. We're here for 3 minutes. The eyes and soften into the shape once more. Make sure the whole body is soft. Toes are soft. Torso is soft. Are you able to sigh out? Shift energy through the body. Allow yourself to melt forward with every breath. Once you've been in the shape for some time, are you able maybe to adjust your prop, allowing yourself to come down a little further into the shape? Noticing where you're feeling this posture. Moving into the last 30 seconds here. back into the ground as you slowly begin to walk out of the shape, coming back up into neutral, bringing the soles of the feet onto the ground in front of you, taking a couple of windshield wipers once more, stretching into the hips, into the hip flexors, getting ready to come into the next posture, which is called caterpillar. Essentially, caterpillar is like a seated forward fold. So if you're sitting on a rolled up blanket, you can stay here, extend the legs forward and in front of you, and then we're gently going to fold over the legs. So again, we're not bringing chest down to shins, we're rolling and taking full extension through or flexion through the spine here. So allow the arms to drift down to the bottom or the sides of the legs. If you need a prop here to rest forehead, you can do so. We're here for 3 minutes. Working into the principles of Yin Yoga, which are to find your appropriate edge, and to settle into the stillness, and then to hold the posture. So allow yourself that possibility now. Soften deeply. Let go of all tensions through the spine. Moving into the last 30 seconds here of caterpillar. Whole body is soft and relaxed into the shape. Gently bring palms back onto the ground. Walk yourself out of the shape very gently. We're going to take a last counter pose here in tabletop. So coming onto all fours. Wrists are stacked underneath the shoulders, knees are stacked underneath the hips. Let's take a couple of cat-cows, dropping belly gazing forward, and as you exhale, gaze up to navel. Inhale, drop belly gaze forward. Exhale, gaze up to navel. Coming back to neutral for a moment, really pressing into the palms, not dumping the shoulders, so pressing up. One more breath. Gently drop buttocks to heels, extend arms forward. Take a deep breath here. And then press up. We're coming into the last of our postures, which is called twisted roots. So we're going to come down onto the mat, hug the knees into the chest for a moment, rocking from side to side, gently decompressing through the lower spine or the lower back, giving yourself a bit of self-love here. And then we're going to cross the legs over. So as though we were doing eagle pose in standing. The arms come out beside you, palms can be up here, and then you allow the knees to drop over to one side. So coming into a twist here. Now, if this twist is too intense and you need to prop up the knees here, just grab hold of your pillows or rolled up blankets or whatever you need, and you can use them to prop up or to bring the ground a little bit closer to the legs. So we're there, we're gazing up to the ceiling, and we're here for 2 minutes. Allow yourself to soften. If it's too much and you're unable to hook the foot around the calf, just have the legs over one another and drop them down. So whatever works for you here. So a lovely twist here through the spine. The last of our postures, working into the kidney and urinary bladder meridians. Opening up those energy lines, restoring the flow of chi throughout the body, and just knowing and trusting that less is often so much more. By incorporating a yin style practice with your yang style of yoga, it's a beautiful way of progressing and honoring the body in both yin and yang. As you find yourself in the shape for some time, you may feel that you can move the bolster or the pillow out of the way and drop the knees down a little further. So try to do so then. Deepen into the shape. Once more, just looking for that edge of a 5. Moving into the last 30 seconds here. So allow yourself to soften and let go just that little bit more. We're in twisted roots. Gently come out, rolling back onto the back. Hug the knees into the chest once more as you gently rock side to side. Getting ready now to move over to the right hand side. So once more, cross legs over. Bring the arms out beside you and drop them over now to the right hand side. Once more, if you need a bolster or some sort of support to prop underneath the knees and bring the ground a bit closer, take it. And then allow yourself to settle here. 2 minutes. More as you simmer for longer into the shape and you feel you may be able to bring the legs right over. Just adjust. into the last 30 seconds here. Soften and melt down just that last little bit. Close the eyes, soften. Enjoy this last moment. Gently roll back into the back, hug knees into the chest. Last little rock from side to side before coming into Shavasana or corpse pose. So bring the feet to the edges of the mat, drawing them out beside you, bringing the hands out on either side of the body, palms facing upward, back of the head lengthened, chin slightly tucked into the chest, and then completely let go here, allowing yourself this moment of rest, allowing the body to soak up the practice. Cleansing breaths flowing right through the body. Right through the body, beginning at the toes, moving up through the legs and into the hips, scanning for tension, allowing the legs to be heavy, sinking down into the ground. Soften through the hips and the belly, soften the arms, palms, bones of the arms sinking into the ground. Chest and shoulder blades are soft as they melt into the mat beneath you. Deep, beautiful breaths sent throughout the body. Clench the jaw, soften the muscles around the mouth and the eyes. Back of the head melting down into your mat. Body is relaxed. Just savor this moment, not having to be anywhere but here. And then when you're ready, begin to wriggle toes. Begin to move fingers by taking the tip of the thumb and drawing it across tips of fingers, allowing the head to roll over from one side to the other. As you gently draw the arms up overhead for a last deep stretch, and rolling over, and then slowly coming back up into seated, coming back into your easy seat, and just noticing the feeling within the body as you come up, feeling some tension and some possible pockets of strain in the body having dissipated now through this beautiful practice of yin yoga. Bring your palms together for a final bit of honoring of the self. Begin to rub those palms, generate some warmth between the hands. Rest those hands into your heart center, connecting here, deeply within. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, bow nose down to fingertips. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself for being here for this practice. Namaste.